Yo creo que este Sentinels es un poco mejor en tema de como de juego en equipo que el año pasado.
In crucial situations, we kind of like autopilot a lot. People are not like talking, we're not making plans, and that's something we've been working on and we've noticed in our previous matchup.
In a punishable spot here. Yeah.
Leviatán has very good individual players. Obviously, they added Aspas.
Tenemos dos campeones mundiales que realmente aportan demasiado al equipo, tanto en tema PE como en tema ideas, en tema comunicación, en todo sentido. Y eso siento que somos un equipo mucho más completo y mucho mejor preparado que el año pasado.
Welcome back to Day 7 of VCT America's Kickoff. Goldenmore here alongside the Breakdown Buddies. Oh, it's them in the flesh. We got Bala, we got Wyatt. We're going to break down our second elimination match of the day. It's Sentinels versus Leviatán, which sounds wild to say out loud, given the amount of hype that these two teams, Bala, had coming into this. We all felt like these were teams that were shoo-ins for Madrid.
Absolutely. This is crazy because I just realized watching that MIBR game, somebody just went home, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. And for Sentinels and Leviatán to be here, I mean, these two teams have champions on them, and they're here in the lower bracket, still trying to fight in for play-ins.
Yeah, this was an inevitable moment that we were waiting for. This is why it was the group of death, because three of the teams that were speculated to be the best in Americas were all trapped together. Only two of them can go through, and we're at that point where, sadly, one of the teams that is one of the best in the scene, see ya. They're gone. It's over.
And
It's
also
crazy.
how they both, got here as well, I think speaks volumes here. Like Leviatán, they felt like a team that was like destined for that spot. And who knows, they could still very well be in that position. But of course, standing in their way, you have the Sentinels who could very well end this run today. And one of the individuals that could be a threat on this team, John QT, is actually standing by with Elizabeth to get his thoughts going into this matchup.
John QT, if I can work with you really, really quickly. This is your second elimination match. What are the vibes of the team going into it?
Everyone is calm, collected. We're just excited to play. We're just playing it like it's a normal game. So, yeah, just excited to play pretty much.
Well, best of luck.
Now, he says that, but it's anything but a normal game. This is an elimination matchup, Wyatt. This is it. They have to play. It's good to keep that calmness in the back of your mind, but you also need to be playing with a little bit more oomph here as well.
And specifically for him, this is the biggest game of his career. And he's just like,
Actually,
this is fine.
I mean, he's already had some big performances, though, thus far.
I mean, for John QT, he stepped in, and there's a lot of pressure on this team. It just feels like he doesn't care, like, the entire time. Throughout the offseason, coming into Kickoff, this is a team that, like, literally blew up last year because of the amount of pressure that the fans put on them, that management puts on them, that everybody here puts on them, too, because they had the champions from Sauce and Pancana last year. John is filling into it so nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the rare moves where Sentinels just pick up a guy because he's just a good player that they need for their team. He was like, for the wider scene, pretty unknown, was incredible in challengers last year with M80 and was just exactly what they needed. They needed the IGL to bring this team together, to make it cohesive, which it wasn't at any point last year. And now we have that. Expectations so high from their success in the offseason. They were expected to be a favorite getting through this group.
Yeah, and even for a player like Zekin as well is another one to talk about expectations, because I remember when we were chatting with him about filling into that primary duelist role, being the guy, the tip of the spear for the team, if you will. And he said it was a lot of pressure, but he was excited for it, and I think that Zekin Bala could very well be a difference maker for this Sentinels team if he gets that freedom to play the way that he knows how.
Oh, absolutely. He has to be. He has to be the guy who steps up, because last year he was almost the only person, I think, who Sentinels had performing at a level that it was maybe matching expectations or exceeding them last year, potentially. But yeah, it's this guy. He has to perform. He's the best on this team, and it's for that reason that he's stepping into that duelist role that everybody was thinking, oh, tens, but it's Zekin now.
Yeah, he's been so good on each different duelist that he's playing. The Jet for him has become such just a pocket
Picking up
pick.
the op.
It's been so good. Yeah, opping is doing it all. I mean, this is the guy that we saw blow up teams on the international stage with XSET, and then setting these high expectations, which he's met, but the system that he's been in, this team's existence over the past year, the chaos, the roster changes, have just not put him in a position to shine on the international stage again. And finally, this is an opportunity for that to happen.
This is that.
Yeah, you know, it feels like almost if this doesn't happen, if this project continues to fail, it's like they're kind of wasting this guy. He might be in, you know, I'm not going to say for sure the prime of his career because he's a young player, but he is damn good, and he needs to be on the world stage. That's how good he is.
They haven't had the chance to go to an international tournament other than like lock-in all the way back and throughout the offseason.
Everyone got a trip to that one.
Yeah, exactly. It was a freebie.
You know, it was a nice trip, though. I mean, I quite like Sao Paulo. I couldn't agree more. It was quite a long one. But you know what, though, we did have that opportunity to chat with Tens and Zek, and I mentioned before. We asked them actually who was scarier, who's the team that they were a little fearful going up against. Let's actually go ahead and hear what they said.
It's only 2 teams that are going to make it to Masters Madrid. If it's you guys, who else do you think is making it?
I would probably say, I would say either between Leviatán or Loud, I think.
Okay.
I think those are probably the 2 strongest teams in the Americas region right now. I think the rest of the teams are kind of below that level. And yeah.
Who is scarier, Leviatán or Loud?
Zach, go ahead.
I'd probably go Loud just because they have a core of 4 players who have been together for a very, very long time. Lev is still, they have a lot of superstars, obviously, but they're a new team and they're still developing. So I think for now it would be Loud, but we'll see.
Okay. So Zekin also has a career as an analyst as well, because he was on the money with that one. I think that everyone felt coming into this one, Wyatt, that yes, you know, Leviatán are going to be a threat, but there was always that lingering thought in the back of your mind. This is still a new team from different backgrounds. What happens when they're tested? We saw that happen, and, well, I mean, the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, the new team versus the core that Zekin is talking about could not be illustrated more perfectly than the match we saw yesterday. Lev were sloppy. Their split is sloppy. It is not cohesive.
Unexpected.
At all. With different comps, they just can't figure it out. They went back to the old reliable 2023 comp. It was better than the Sova comp, but it still didn't work out. And you have to question, of course, yes, they have put together this super team. Well, one of the components is world champion initiator Com, but he came in really recently. And you could see the influence on the team. It's why they had the Sova on split, trying different things. But trying different things to integrate and make him feel comfortable, which I like, but they just didn't have a lot of time with him. So how much can you really expect them to be cohesive with that late change, even though it's for a quality player?
Yeah, I don't like cutting super teams slack in most cases.
Okay.
I think I will here. I think this tournament structure is so rapid, so fast, and I think the way that offseason came together for Leviatán at the end, Com was a hot ticket that came real late. So there's not as much time to get that depth that you need to be able to prepare all the maps in every single map pool, whereas you see other different maps that they're playing, and they look very good. That Bind, for example, I mean, that's Aspas's playground, but it looks fantastic, and I think that's one that is going to be difficult to challenge them on.
Yeah, I think for me, what I am excited to see here is for Leviatán to finally, like, be challenged in this situation. This is where you start to see the kind of cracks in the armor form, if you will. And then this is how Leviatán fixes it, because they'll need to fix things. It's good that they lost here, because now you're like, okay, cool, we know what it's like to lose together. Now let's go and make a run together, because this is what's going to form a relationship between these 5 players from really different backgrounds coming together to form this super team, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the most international team there's been in America so far.
It's the most America's team.
Yeah, it truly is. And a key part of that was them with their first, I believe the first move or second, whatever. They brought in
a big one.
The biggest move somewhere alongside Tex early on in the offseason. He is obviously, quite possibly, the greatest player in the world. He's always going to be, at the very least, you can't not have him in the comp. You're a joker and a clown if you don't have him at least in the comp.
We proved that if it bleeds, you can kill it, though. and Aspas did bleed that game.
But listen, if there's one team that's going to shut down Aspas, it's the team that birthed him. It's the team that created him, GB. So it's Sonic. Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
I don't know.
After
like
production said,
apropos,
back on cam, and then you did that, which is wild. But you get what I'm saying here. So when we're going up against Sentinels, different story. There's no way in my mind they're going to be as good at shutting them down than Loud.
The thing is, I think when you have Aspas on your team and you see stats like this in terms of his worst performance almost ever here on the stage, it's different because this is elimination. This is the type of games where there's high stake, and it's always the time where Aspas just turns on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and he just destroys. So that map 3, for example, he disappeared. And that's not what you're expecting from a guy like that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not.
Star player.
The coordination and the chemistry between the rest of the team, I think, is something that's really difficult when you have so many factors coming together, right? When you have Tex, when you have Calm, when you have multiple world champions coming together. That's the difficult part, to make it work together.
Yeah. What does fascinate me is to see this. I want to see like Calm and Aspas continue to find success together. Maybe Calm can be a kind of a setup guy. You know, he needs to be the setup guy for
seems
Aspas.
like that guy.
And he needs to be that guy for this game. And if he is, that will be quite dangerous for Sentinels to deal with.
I mean, I'm already looking at this, the games that they've played so far, and Calm is the most talkative on the team.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah, and that's exciting because we get to see Calm still in his element from last year. Whenever he was playing any of those weird gimmicky comps, especially with the Sova, always being so proactive on that agent.
And it helps for a team that speaks a lot of different languages. They're, you know, the guys from LATAM, Aspas, they're, of course, all calming in English, not their native language. So having Calm be able to pick some of that up, offer a lot of mid-rounding, help out King is super crucial. But yeah, to your point as well, he's a unique player.
Yeah.
And bringing in a unique guy like that late in the off season is tough.
It's take a while.
At least he provides value no matter what, right?
Absolutely. Provides value.
I'm scared, though. If he is talking as much as he is to fill other gaps, though, because of potential language barriers or something like that, especially if King is still the IGL.
I'm actually not
on
concerned
the team.
about the language barrier when it comes to
No,
King's,
I'm not either.
Yeah, I think that, but I do agree with what you're saying, though.
Yeah, the comfort thing is what I'm a little concerned about when it comes to somebody stepping up like that, because you don't want to fill that hole completely. You want them to grow into it.
Very true. That will continue to be the question we ask for this team, you know, throughout the year, because we see all these different combinations coming in. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. This is a very similar conversation we were having about Sentinels last year as well, and then they had to make some adjustments.
They were trolling.
Well, going into the season, we were like, how are these things going to pair together? Turns out it didn't.
I'll give you that.
But that being said, though, ahead of today's match, we did speak with the Sentinels IGL John QT about the areas the team needs to improve. Let's actually check that out.
I think in crucial situations, we kind of like autopilot a lot and we don't make plans. I think it's a lot of the like mid-round situations, late round situations we mess up and people are not like talking, we're not making plans, stuff like that. So that's been pretty bad for us so far.
Well, of course, have to see how John QT and the rest of the squad from Sentinels fare against Leviatán. A big matchup that we're about to be treated to here. But let's go ahead and take a moment, though, to continue to talk more about some of these players. We got Zelsis, who, I love the phrase, the vibe merchant. He definitely brings that energy to the team. And he's going to need to here, because this is going to be a tough game no matter how you slice it on both sides of the field here, Wyatt.
Yeah, we're watching a clip right now from last year on Cloud9 late in the season when they were struggling. He was the guy keeping the positive attitude for the rookies on the team. He was the guy lifting up their spirits when they were having some rough games. And that's the character arc he's been on, is becoming this positive leader figure in the team. And that was one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, they ended up going with him in the offseason, is there was a moment where they were down in one of those offseason tournaments to G2, like 10-2, something at the half. And he was subbing in, and he, with his energy that he brings to the team, that vocal ability that he has, to bring them back, win that game, and then it just kind of became clear from there, like, all right, this guy is just, he fits so well into this team, I mean, that we have to use him.
I'll tell you, Cloud9 is missing him right now.
for sure.
I think that kind of guy on that team right now would help a lot, and that's exactly why
would have been big in those OTs.
Exactly.
You know?
That's exactly why Sentinels is having so much success with him. Is really having a resurgence and actually making everything feel good together. Right? I think last year they were marred by role issues, by tons of changes because nobody could figure out what to do with everybody. Now that you have Zelsis able to plug in and fill in some of those roles, I mean, it's perfect.
Valorant really has evolved into a game where you need to have one or two of those like insanely flexible players on your team to cover those gaps, to fill the roles that you need to. It's actually been really cool to see all these players evolve over the course of the last 2 years. And that being said, though, well, we want you guys to share who you think is going to walk away with the win here. Is it going to be Leviatán or will it be Sentinels? This will be fascinating only because, I mean, like, you know, the two very good teams here, but we all know Sentinels fan base voice is quite loud.
I got a free shirt outside. There was nobody there.
You went and got the free shirt?
They were all inside already.
I want to get the free shirt, man.
They gave me a free shirt. I'm gonna.
You're going for the
I'm gonna step back from voting in the fan poll. I feel like
I'm compromised.
I'm compromised. My vote has been tainted. I will not be opening my phone. I will not be voting in the Twitch chat.
Do you have a prediction, though?
Wait, are we doing predictions right now?
Yeah, sure, why not? We got a minute.
Okay, well...
are you really going to just write it down? All right, I'm actually curious.
Yeah, well, okay.
I don't have my whiteboard.
And everything I just said out the window. I'm going with Sen, and it's not about the T-shirt. It has nothing to do with the T-shirt.
Nothing to do with it.
It has to do with, I've lost my train of thought. Paula, take it away. Why are you going with who?
Why am I going with who? Tell me.
I don't know.
Oh, Sentinels?
I think I'm going with Sentinels too.
Okay, all right.
I think that this team is really coming together nicely, and Leviatán, that last game was abysmal, I'll have to say. Against Loud, they got rolled in some of those, and they looked bad in some instances. That's not something that you want to see coming into an elimination match.
Okay, for the truth, I agree. Sentinels, actual coordination and teamwork on more maps than Lev will have, in my opinion. Not the T-shirt, going with Sen.
All right, well, let's see what ends up happening here. Our desk is flipping back and forth, but for now, though, let's head on over to the map select to see where our teams are headed.
Welcome to the map pick ban. After the coin flip, it was determined that Sentinels is going to be Team A and Leviatán is going to be Team B. Sentinels, you have the first map ban.
Ban Icebox.
Ban Icebox. Leviatán.
We ban Sunset.
Ban Sunset. And the first map pick?
Pick Split.
Pick Split. And your side?
We pick Attack.
Lev chose Attack. And your map?
We pick Breeze.
Pick Breeze. Sentinel side?
Defense.
Defense. And the map ban?
Ban Ascent.
Ascent.
We ban Lotus.
Lotus. And the default map's gonna be Bind. And Sentinels, you get to pick the side.
Attack.
Attack. Okay, awesome. Good luck, have fun, guys.
Thanks. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Riot Games Arena, we have a one-way ticket to Sen City. Give it up for Sentinels!
Y en la arena sube la marea porque juega la Leviatán.
Don't forget, all you beautiful people, make sure you get your VCT 2024 capsules to support your teams. And these two teams definitely have a lot of supporters, so I wouldn't be shocked to see a lot of these skins, especially because that Leviatán one looks dope in matchmaking. But Wyatt, you had said that you had things to talk about. You had actual analysis to break down.
Yep.
Yeah, so what do you have?
I told you to send it straight to you. And I'm catching it. This map pool, the first two maps are really good for Sen.
How so?
Split we saw them already find success there. They had that close game against Loud, but they beat 100 Thieves in solid fashion. John Cutie was going crazy. Saucy was going crazy. Lev have used 2 different comps on Split, and they kind of sucked with both. So that's good news for Sen. And then when we go from there, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but Breeze is the second map. That was a map that Sen beat PaperX on twice in the offseason. I think these first 2 maps are looking really good for Sentinels. And then the third one, if we get there, is Bind, and then we're in Lev territory.
Well, if we're at map 3 at that point, I mean, you just throw the analysis out the window.
That's promo. Let's go. Dude, I like to disagree with everything that people say usually, but I just have to agree with everything.
Is that what it is? Every time we hang out, you just disagree with me?
Yeah, I like
wow, you're a terrible person.
Split, I mean, that's just awesome that Kaplan is immediately just driving that knife right there. I mean, that's perfect. That's one that Leviatán knows they're struggling with, and because they have a permaban, they have to contend with. And a team like Sentinels, who has been working hard in the offseason, has the depth that Leviatán does not, so they can make decisions like that, and I think it's going to pay off.
Could very well. This is going to be quite difficult for Leviatán to have to try and overcome here, Wyatt, but they have Aspas.
They do have Aspas, and I'm looking towards one thing, which is what will he be playing, and what will the rest of the Lev team be playing? Because they play with 2 comps. Yesterday we saw them play with the 2023 double duelist standard comp, where they were essentially going for all of the same defaults, approaches that we saw all of last year, and they looked better with it than their original comp, which was the Calm Sova experimental one, where they got blown out of the water by 100 Thieves in their first match. So I'm really looking towards them. We know what we're getting from Sentinels. It's going to be that standard Cypher comp that they looked great on.
All right, well, we're going to get this agent select here in a moment, and we will see what the compositions would be, most notably for Leviatán, as we had discussed at great length what look we're going to get for this team, and we are getting double duelist here for Leviatán. And
no, I'm just kidding. No, I think this is good. I think this is the only real choice that they had. The Sova comp did not work. It was not ready. Maybe in Split 1 or something like that, they'll be able to bring it back out. But this is the only choice that you have when you have only one match left in this tournament to stay alive.
And frankly, their match wasn't terrible against Loud. It was sloppy.
Loud played great.
It was sloppy,
after a point.
For sure. But they still had Tex and Aspas on the duelists here. If they just take it a little bit further with the fragging than they did against Loud, that could be the difference maker just on its own, because those 2 guys are crazy. They can just frag out.
Or Sentinels is not able to inject the same amount of chaos that really made Leviatán kind of lost in that first half. That could go
and that's a possibility, right? I mean, we always got to factor in, what's on the other side of the field there, right? And for all we know, there could have been an opportunity where Leviatán just goes back and says, okay, guys, we know where we had screwed up. We need to, and they have the players to do it. That's the thing.
Don't forget, Loud was running a funky comp in that one, right? They were running the double initiator on Split still. That, I don't know. I think that could have been the key factor into why Leviatán was not ready for exactly how this was going to go.
Yeah, real quick, just want to let everyone know, quick mouse issue on the stage, and then once we are good to go, we're going to jump into the action. For now, though, we're just going to keep on yapping. Okay, a couple yappers.
Paul and I have been, we've been doing little silly, who do you think's gonna win this game kind of thing. Now, if you were to hypothetically engage in a little what do you think is gonna happen? What do I think is gonna happen? I would personally say that on the mouse front, I would say it's Ten's mouse. What's your guess? whose mouse do you think it is?
Well, all you gotta do is look at the stage, right?
No, that's cheating.
Okay, so don't look at the stage.
I'm looking. I got the TV right now.
We got 4 TVs.
His mouse is working. I think it's on the other side. I think
no.
It has to be the Leviatán side, only because
Ten's has 7 mice. He can't have a broken mouse. He just gets a new one. There's nothing wrong with it.
Got another one on Prime delivery, just right around the corner. It's just so good. Oh, man. All right, well, it seems like we're going to be good to go in a little bit here. But, yeah, you guys are both calling for Sen. Any chance here for Leviatán?
Absolutely. What is the
I'm trying to create conversation, you buttheads.
And you're doing it. And now I will respond. Okay. There is absolutely a chance for Lev. The player quality is outrageous. This map is clearly not their strong suit. They have proven that 2 times. But their players are incredible. They can win just playing a pretty simple 2023 style game with this comp. because their players can go crazy.
Now, what do you do with your hands if Leviatán wins split?
What do I do with my hands?
What do you do?
I don't know. Give them a nice thumbs up. Thumbs up. Great job out there, guys.
What do you do, though, with Leviatán? Okay, wait a minute. Just got the word from the producer. We're good to go, folks. Here we go. Let's see how this match is going to get settled. Sentinels versus Leviatán, and who better to call the action than Bren and Sideshow?
Let's get this started. Sentinels versus Leviatán. Elimination game, Josh.
Yep.
Here, right now, and it's all on the line to play for that play-ins, a chance for that lifeline of Madrid.
You think about the expectations for both of these rosters. They are sky high. On one side, you've got an assembled attempt at a super team from Americas, and on the other, a Sentinels that's retooled this year. Neither of these squads want to be going home. It's such a tough group. This is the conclusion of, inarguably, I think, the toughest group in Americas here. If you end up going home in this one, no more chances to make it to Madrid. Both of these rosters want to be attending as many of those global events as possible.
High expectations set on the shoulders of each of them.
And you see Sentinels running a pistol round at the beginning here, where they're going to paranoia and try to throw a nade off the cam contact. Lev are nowhere near. Right, so both teams' pistol round ideas don't even interact with each other for now.
Opposite sides of the map. Will be a chance here for Sentinels to play their retakes. They're known for it, the defensive setups.
Yeah, their
Retake
defensive
protocols.
retakes, they're so good over towards A.
Really nice. But an open plant. They've gone for heaven here. Now a refight will be on the cards. Out towards ramp now, everybody. Side by side, shoulder to shoulder. One slip up could spell disaster, but that double face just off the boombot contact. Paranoia followed it up, and now they're finally at least taking a bit of that space, but they've got to refight past this wall, waiting for it to go down now. Clearing it.
Sen are trying to be extremely thorough here, but the more time they take, the more Mazzino's pull is going to be just an endgame checkmate.
Slight slip up there, Zekken just not having the gun out. King just holding it down, straight into the elbow. You can't remove it. And that's Lev. Pistol round. Granted and gained.
Spectacular individual stuff from King to open things up. He really struggled in that opening match, and I thought, oh, that's not a great sign for Leviatán's season if this star player, super fragger IGL, isn't going to be able to be online. And then he was amazing in the match against Loud.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll struggle to get value out of him here. Senna's still going to have a little bit of danger in this one, though. There is potential for some kind of crunch over towards B main. They're going to go for this smoke and flash setup.
Paranoia as well. That's just delayed ever so slightly. Sassy with a repeat, but large expenditure of that utility here. Still, it's all about navigating it. I mean, there's been insane amounts of consistency with teams winning on their eco rounds. For whatever reason, in Americas, teams have just gotten a lot better at using the util, using the classics.
It's not just in Americas as well. Happening globally right now. King is pulling attention towards A. Sentinels have already rotated, expecting some kind of pivot. And there's nobody home on the A side. Yeah, but no rifle dropped. He was only running with a ghost, so it's not a huge opening in the round for Sentinels. They'll need a little more.
Tech's going walkabout, him and Aspas hunting for some more kills. Love to fill up the ult meter. Guardian not getting the job done, but will he expect Tex tucked? It's a bit of bait, swinging round 10. Oh my. Still good for the one, but eventually with the trade now, dropping down onto the site. You feel the pressure mounting onto Com. Has to really adjust the aim here just for the boom bomb, but the damage definitely being pumped into them. Zelsis from the back here. Pull. First line of defense onto this one, dissuading this from the plant, but Aspas taking damage. Mazzino with the rifle. This is scrappy and weak and winnable. No planted. Out wide. Second with the ghost. That was earned a little bit earlier. Sticking. Sassy! Oh my goodness!
It's unbelievable, the consistency in the ecos. And I think the biggest playmaker, yes, it was still tight towards the end, but the biggest playmaker in that round is Tens with a classic, in my opinion. Because the way that he just broke that hold, I mean, obviously King goes down early, but it's this one. Double headshot and so much damage there onto Aspas. Broke Leviatán's attempt to go and take some other portion of the map. these second round kind of eco wins have been more than 50% higher than they were last year. I think that's absurd.
It's ludicrous.
I think it's because teams, in a weird kind of way, are being forced to play around the utility instead of just relying on hero plays.
Playing field being brought up a tad. This new year of VCT.
And of course, Aspas could still be an incredible danger in this round too.
Wow,
Shot in the back,
shut
though.
down, shot in the back, and he did have the rifle. Will be retrievable once the carnage is cleared out through mid.
Leviatán playing this eco round as the Sisterhood of the Traveling Vandal. Just dropping the gun around, seeing if anybody can make use of it.
It's Tex's turn. Re-aim in the right spot there. Through the wall, no bullets connecting. Flash with the repeat. Used in kind. Util still creeping up onto the angle, but will crosshair placement be good enough? Lots to manage, lots to watch out for. That is a dirty angle. Celsius, he wants a little bit more here. Pushing all the way up. Clearing out the players. Pesky problems up into heaven, so a clean one for Sentinels. Flawless.
They've dealt with any danger there and got themselves started nicely on this defense half. One of the things to keep an eye on is that Leviatán, during their game with Cloud, the desk had a lot of criticism for them being a little sloppy, timings being off, the fundamentals not quite being there. So that's a big area for us to be paying attention to as Leviatán start their attack side. They need this one, otherwise their economy is going to be flat again.
You see a bit of a skirmish breaking out now, out into B main. One-way smoke, round the corner, disrespect shown by Aspas. Dash though. Used to get out of dodge, still holding close to the corner. That is Sassy, choosing to use this. Just a Trailblazer. Gets confirmation that there are a few players tucked still now into B main, losing control of it.
That's extremely early in the round for Aspas to be using his dash. They're not going to have that to be able to get into sight. It does make it difficult to run this burst dive comp without a dash engage, but they're drawing out good utility from Sentinels. Now the question is, are they actually able to use the other minute on the clock to go and take some space and make it easier for them to get into sight?
Smoke's refreshed. See Calm, he's got Trailblazer being held into his hands. Not going into the direction of market though, Celsius. Doesn't expect that. The Tex could have already crossed, so overzealous is the approach. It's given that first kill advantage now to Lev with 38 seconds. It's ticking down steadily. There's danger here that they might run out of time, but now you might just see a bit of an explosion out towards heaven with the flash. Sets that one up. Taking all that space off angle by Zekken. What can he do with a rifle? Satchel. Seems to delay and deny. That's just Sassy with the Spectre still. Double drop down, too much to deal with. Playing close to the pillar. You got a crossfire setup from Sen. They're really just trying to evade capture, but Aspas doing so much for them. 12 seconds. Remember, time becomes an issue, especially with tens holding close. Through the box, John is there. 6 seconds. Has to be the committal. Did time? I'm not even too sure. I'm not too sure. Did it have enough? It's a win! No. It's a win, not enough time!
Unbelievable! Unbelievable that Sentinels are able to win that round by tens hiding in a corner, dropping the spike plant, allowing John to play in, and then John just hides. I mean, if we can get a replay and look at the milliseconds on the clock here, it's got to be like single-digit milliseconds that made the difference. It was extraordinarily close.
Nailbiter, 3-1 lead for Sen. The defense side is going to be where they're favored. They put a lot of work into this, especially on split, like the analyst was saying. Cram through. Aspas. So damn low, there's coverage there. Over the shoulder, that's Tex.
And that's very good awareness from Leviatán. Tens fights A-ramp super aggro in a lot of these rounds.
Aspas. Seen him do this one before. Updraft. Over the top, now a dash as well. Follows it up with all the util. Sassy, he's still alive. Just maintaining that ground. Flash through. That's a peek from the rest of his team. It's connecting onto everybody. Blind as anything. Aspas. Through the main angle. It's being watched for, and he's a lone player. Left to do so much here. Aspas. We know he's capable, but he just cannot land the Blade Storm.
And it's another lovely round from Sen. They were aware when the Viper Wall went up, did 94 damage to Aspas at the start of the round, and then Sassy's anchoring is excellent because it not only does it find him a pick, but it also creates so much pressure on the rest of Leviatán, it actually plays in the rest of his team through Heaven. You can't focus on everything at once when Sassy's alive there being such a nuisance. This is already starting to be a little bit of trouble here for Leviatán. They're going to start getting up to big ultimates, but they've let Sen get 4 in a row right now, and one of them was stolen away.
Oh yeah, should have been a guarantee round number 2.
God, the round where they lose to time, if they just are able to get to the spike.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Less than half a second earlier, they are very favored in that post-plant situation. It's really tough for John to win unless he wins by time there. And these fine margins could make all the difference as to whether your dream run to Madrid is alive or not. We saw last year in Americas, the smallest things have cascading impact down the road and completely changed the tide of VALORANT history, of who made it to the big tournaments, of who won them.
Knife anybody.
Exactly. It is a dance on the finest margins when it comes to the battles of these top teams sometimes.
What's being called by Lev here on the other side of this timeout, like we've been calling? I mean, the showstopper Tex definitely could do something with that. All grouped up, 4-1 default. Zeno on the opposite side of the map here, but Lev probably going to be going for a familiar play, maybe a fast play up through ramp, or possibly to the site with the ult. Who knows? Ramp control. That's what they're aiming for.
Again, this kind of play designed to bully Tens, who is often going to be in that spot. He's actually made the swap over to B with John Cutie. So coming out of the timeout from Leviatán, Sentinels change up how they're running their defensive side.
It's common enough angles that are just being spammed down here, but giving a lot of room to breathe. They put the wall up. Methodical with the clearance.
Oh, that's actually allowing the dog there to take all of that space. It's given Lev a much happier time over in Heaven.
Yeah, full control of it. Still worried about Ven. Aspas!
That's a huge pick.
Lovely adjustment.
So much more threat now as to where Leviatán can go in the map. They can be in B Heaven right now, but instead, Lev, it looks like the best call of action here is to go from Heaven to site with Tex's ult. And it's going to be so difficult for Sassy.
And Sassy marooned, isn't he? On an island into the corner. This time the nade will clear him out surely. Dash forwards there. Sassy still gets the one. Follow-up second spamming, spraying and praying. Only with the Phantom, though, it's damage. Bullets going wide here. Plan for King. Get themselves now into this post plan. Casino from afar will be, again, the backup, potentially with the stars, but they're already in, straight into elbow damage. Weakened. Second on 12 HP. How did they get themselves into this one? It's almost an impossibility. Maybe with a satchel to set up the play, but nobody wants to peek for it. Leading the charge, Zekken. Weaken a player, showstopper, and fired! 2 versus 2. You gotta get a move on here. Players round Zekken. 12 health still. And trying to do it versus the star player of this team, Aspas. He bides his time. He waits it out. He knows he's got a cross, but he misses the initial shot. A tap. Zekken baiting, but ice cold from Aspas. He knows how to win it out.
Immaculately played with the timing there from Aspas. You'll often see the superstar players go for the clip. Not him, not in that moment. Making sure that Lev get on the board coming out of their timeout round. And that opener onto Celsius was also a huge one for Lev to be able to get into the site and commit somewhere knowing that their back was clear. Second really made a try of it there, though.
All as the lowest player. Really did make it look dangerous.
Leviatán are putting an enormous emphasis on dominating ramp control at the start of these rounds.
Same play almost every single time, just with the pull comboed up. Hoping to catch a player that might just be overextending, like you said, you know, Tens playing in that position from time to time.
Extremely reminiscent of the game that Finesse called against EG last year. All of this pressure A ramp opens up mid. I mean, you look at it, they've rotated 4 players over to try to deal with any potential A Heaven push. Only now is Sassy going back to make sure that there hasn't been a deep lurk.
Poison's on.
Map control into mid, though, still being held down for the time being. The concerned that players are still holding on to that ramp control. Sen.
I think this round, Bren, Com's Seekers are just going to give away that there's nobody anchoring A. If Com decides to use it at some point, they should be able to get a post-plant Viper's pit down. Look, all of the Seekers going up there.
Yeah.
Actually,
one's going into sight, so that does put some concern and consternation into it. Zelsis spraying down with a kill trip. Close angle, Second still there. Tries to disengage with the satchel, but can't get loose a King.
30 seconds left.
Still there with the hold down, and the pit really giving that cover and fire. Sentinels are fast onto the approach, just spamming all the corners. Not into the usual places, but it does allow them to get into the site.
This is so difficult, so awkward for Lev. They could just get swung through. Sassy, though, has no flash.
First contact for Aspas. That is magical. The reaction times. Fire on all cylinders. Snap to the side. Zelsis and King onto the high ground here. Cage tapping away. Half on the diffuse. John QT. He will be removed. The molly on top, but is it going to be enough, surely? Potentially. Zelsis! Decay and vulnerable, but already half on the diffuse. Sentinels, well navigated.
And an amazing round from Zelsis. That ult, I love it. It spills out from screens and puts so much pressure onto people trying to play any kind of post-plant positions, trying to get the spike down. And the flicks he had inside here, the rifling skill to pick up 4. Beautiful awareness, good reaction and protocol from Sen. And they've knocked Leviatán's economy down instantly. I mean, when you win one and lose like that and just get rid of all of the loss bonus, devastating.
Yeah, detrimental. Working with scraps here.
One of the ways that Leviatán were able to put some pressure on Loud and cause some of that chaos was by getting these lurks in through A. It's so much more difficult to do that when there's a Cypher on the other side. You don't know when you're going to hit a trip or a cam. This time, though, John reluctant to dominate this smoke with Aspas having popped his knives. Could be inside of it. He certainly was.
I hear that dash here. Full control. All for the side here. The Viper's pit, though, that's going to be blocking off the screen's angle. It allows King to play deep into it, but it doesn't cover the actual spike. They're committing the Cosmic Divide into this. It's on a weaker buy round, a really all-in approach from Lev, and it has to come up with the goods. Aspas, still with the Blade Storm. Smoke dropped down. He's just trying to sow some chaos into it, make sure he can play the distraction, but it's all being watched for. 2 players there, still from the main angle. Mazzino a tap onto this one, round to the back, and he does bite back. Half on the defuse. Zelsis. The pull wasn't in time for this one. Re-smoked off as well. That's going to be putting this all on the line. The pressure there. Sentinels. They have it all under control.
That's really bizarre from Leviatán that they weren't allowed to apply any pressure there to the diffuse. They had the pull. The pull was a little late and already allowed half to come on. And then there didn't really seem to be a game plan for the follow-up. The retakes from Sen are calm, controlled. They go through the motions, ensure that they punish anybody that tries to refight for heaven or swing onto that diffuser. I love the methodical approach that Sentinels have. It's so different to last year.
Really well drilled. They alternate that defensive setup. It's immaculate. Looking around the ults that they might have too.
So this is one of the first times where Leviatán don't dominate A ramp at the very beginning. Second and 10s were both there, ready to fight it.
It's been re-cleared.
Yeah, Dog is going to re-clear out King. But I think this should make it obvious that Lev are playing for mid as well. Right? You don't see anybody over on this side of the map.
In bots. King. Hoping for the timing, that's a showstopper. Around the side 9 health, King. Oh my goodness, gonna be holding your breath after that. Tagged up, delayed. Zelsis is there with the snake bites, still trying to just lock down control of this heaven area. Now, there's gonna be that pressure onto John QT. Has to play within his cages, backing away. Maybe he can point straight to the tracers. They're gonna be swarming his position on from the high ground approach. He doesn't know which angle to watch for. How does he get that kill? It's precise. Players into the position. King takes a cheeky one. Bite of the apple. Backs away. Doesn't overstay his welcome.
Excellent timing in the round there from King. He's put his players in an advantage situation. Sen are going to find it difficult here.
Squad.
Heal on line 2. Top these players right back up. Crossfire. All into spawn. How do they deal with this? It's all watched into main. The movement tends, attempting to jiggle and force that fight out, at least isolate it. Has to be given up now by Sen. They realize it. Big player disadvantage. So Lev Great round for them to get themselves back onto their feet.
And a really important
They've got to
time
keep
get
these
around
guns
there.
intact.
Yeah, it is important. I mean, they're pretty fine in their current situation. They would still be fine even if they lost another one. But yeah, Lev's economy is only just starting to build up. So they would like to keep it as healthy as possible. A reminder, Leviatán picked the attack side to begin with, right? And this composition, often we've seen it go really well on the attack side. The double duelists can be explosive, difficult to deal with. But Sen have got a very nice idea of when they want to play retake, how they want to slowly clear out the rest of the map and put pressure on Lev in the post plan. But when you heard the devs talk about the map pool, this is where they were expecting Sen to have the largest advantage.
I think that makes sense as well. Consider the amount of attention that Sen put into it.
For sure. This was an amazing map for them during the offseason, and it even looked good. It looked so winnable in the game against Loud. But you could have said that for both of these teams. It's been an extraordinarily tight Group B. Sen are picking this time into re-clear B main, which isn't something they've done very much of. But here comes the Trailblazers on both sides.
Misses. No stun. Can't link that one up into a follow-up, so Zelsis, does he really choose to press the advantage? Yes, he does. I mean, absolute insanity from him. Luckily, traded out for Lev.
You could see there they expected Zelsis to be back in vents. They were trying to put some pressure on him with a flash and a double blast pack. Sassin takes contact over here. He's got Tens and Zeka, the young'uns of the squad, to back him up. And again, we see King in a position where he'd love to try to get a lurk off, but he just can't get that aggressive. He's worried about running into all of the Cypher utility. There's only 30 seconds here. This may end up in a mad scramble
30
towards
seconds
A,
left.
where John could again play to try to win the round through time. There is very little on the clock.
The cage as well to partition up a section of the side. 20 seconds. Gonna move on.
Destroyed.
Dash forwards by Aspas, clearing it up and cutting it up into the side. He wants to take the peek. Trying to play the anti-flash, John! There's 2 kills. Spike still up into heaven. You got to drop down here. Mazina got to go for this plant.
It has to be safe.
Oh my, round to the corner, King. Trying to exert his control onto this section of the map, at least maintain that control for it, but just locked down into too many unfortunate positions.
I thought the way that Leviatán were coming through heaven was actually really nice. The flash, Aspas coming forwards, and John just takes a swing timing that completely catches them inside of their utility. The timing plays there from Zelsis and from John, stepping in front of the util to some degree in order to find that aggression, find that timing. It's another round where Sen are able to get off a retake because their players are just in a great position right as the spike goes down.
There's no hesitancy when they heard that spike going down. They realized they could take the fight of one player out of the action. It's one of the bread and butters of the success of Sentinels so far this year. They've really been drilling that, making sure they make those correct decisions, not wasting any time in the moments, and when they matter. Lev have a few rifles online into this one, just Aspas and Comp. Potential playmakers. Nade. No way, Comp. Almost blinded himself into the process to follow up with the Morley. Almost with the transfer, Zelsis. Guy's looking like an absolute menace still. With the Stinger in close quarters, that's really where it thrives. So Tex, an exchange of the weaponry into mid, you can start to calm the round down if you are Lev.
King knows that there's a camera up here, breaks it, maintains a little bit of pressure over towards A heaven. In the meantime, Tens is walking out B main, just using that info and having some bravery to go and take a risk. You could argue it's unnecessary in this kind of round, but Lev have picked up 2 rifles. It's quite even.
Second looking for the walkout. Sees it, first shot. Not quite landing to the dome, but it's damage done equally. Has to back away and respect this now. Plant onto B.
Satchel out.
Section to the side here. Lev seeking to reclaim a bit more ground. Pushing forwards into...
This ult is so good.
Big ult.
It lets second and Tens know whether or not they're being pressured.
Oh, and a small phase. Mazzino, who's just trying to cross into a better position, a better angle. It's all onto Tex, really, with the rifle. King can you do? Only with the Sheriff wrapping around. Attack onto the defuse. Tens. They're picking them apart here. And the damage far too weak. Tex just can't make a play. 8 rounds now for Sent.
You are really seeing the advantage here for Sentinels taking the offseason super seriously, drilling all of these setups, protocols. The team is on the same page. They're decisive with each other, not making too many individual moves. Even when Tens makes this repush out through B main, he comes back to second, and they play together off each other very nicely.
Okay, watch the B pop, but you guys need to not rotate off A. Yeah, because remember that Ash roll here?
And you hear there's Zelsis drilling out what his team needs to be looking out for in round 12. It's not going to be the B pop though. Everybody from Lev getting ready to burst into the A site.
Potentially again using that showstopper, but it's the final round of this first half. How do they take it? Early flash being utilized by Sen. Put some pause and hesitation into the play of Lev. They can't quite gain that ground like they were hoping for, but now taking it in a different direction. Cosmic Divide playing in front of it. Sassy's there, backing. Now away, kill trip, Tex. Just trying to hold this one for us, but he's lit up like a Christmas tree, and you can play Ring Around the Roses, weaving in and out. The Cosmic Divide, it does not matter, will not protect him. Clearance called here by Sen. Pushing down now with the Trailblazer, flash forwards. All being utilized, making sure that they can just make this as difficult as possible for Lev. But with the plant down, maybe they can have a go of it. Still, all the players in position onto the post plant, pushed up onto the site. Complete control for Sen. And it's slow. It's the way the siege goes here. 5 players, they can pick them apart, but Aspas might just be the first one to do it. King alongside him. Filling up the feed and ready. Need more where that comes from. It's all down to Aspas. He can't get it done.
Once more, the methodical nature of Sentinels there, putting pressure on the people as Plant was going down, and then setting up that advantage retake. These have worked so nicely for Sen.
Switching sides.
And their defense has, I think, generally been a bit better on split, so there's still chances for Lev in the next half. But in general, this has just been an outplay. Lovely, lovely retakes. Great way to start the match for Sentinels.
Wonderful beginning. You're right, there is still chances for Lev, but this is just domination on their map pick. Elimination came on the line, and we've got Liz standing by with Mama Zekken down in the crowd.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'm here with Mama Zekken. I don't know. Let's go what? What's that?
Let's go, Zekken!
Let's go, Zekken. Now, I have to ask you, we've literally watched Zekken grow up as a player. We saw him while he was in high school playing. What has it been like as his mother, watching him grow up as a player?
As a mom, I feel so blessed because Zekken really works so hard, and all the teams too, they're so good. And you know, he's born to play. He's been playing sports since he was 4 until now. So he's really born to play and win. Let's go, Zekken.
Let's go, Zekken. Now, I have to ask, because as someone who's also from the greatest state in the Union, New Jersey, well, I'm not New Jersey's finest, I am New Jersey's dumbest. But I know it's a very far away state. So having Zekken move literally across the country to achieve his dream, what was that like?
It's a lot of hard work, to be honest. You know, we gotta like make sure that we get in touch with the school, the management, and everybody. So, you know, he's a very professional esports player and a very good A student. I feel so blessed that he finished high school with good grades, like A student. I'm so blessed. And until now, you know, make your dream come true, guys. You know, dreams really can happen, you know.
Yes, they can. Now, if Zekken could hear you right now, what would you want to say to him?
Zekken, we're so proud of you. Have fun and kick butt. Bring home the trophy, boy.
Okay, very, very simple words. Well, thank you so much, Mama Zekken. Can we give it up one more time for Mama Zekken? The sweetest. And it's been a wonderful halftime, but we have a game to get back to. So Brennan, Saito, please take it away.
Thank you, Liz.
Zekken top fragging, 14 and 5, straight A student. Were you a straight A student in high school, Brennan?
I failed the later section of high school, actually.
Yeah, well, that shows the difference between you and Zekken, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to perform up here. Fun fact, Zekken, one of our top players in America the last year statistically, despite the poor performance of his overall team, and he's up against Aspas. Also holds the top spots.
Lev are going to need this pistol. Aspas is spotted Sheriff. Doesn't look like they're going towards him in this round, though. I mean, look how quickly Sentinels have taken fence control.
Second. Early bit of damage applied here. Takes one straight to the head, but the heal's online. So back up to 100. King with a jump spot, holding the molly to snakebite. Here's the rumble with the footsteps and just slows it down. But this is a lot of utility and a lot of players being pulled around at the minute mark.
Sen are still really flexible in terms of where they can end. Celsius looking to apply some pressure. This Viper Orb is lovely. Very difficult to work around. You need 2 players watching either side of it.
Just dragging that attention away of Lev.
And Sen have created a nice opening for themselves over towards A.
Mazzino anchoring position into elbow. We've seen many players pop off from this spot, but can he do it too? Look at a draw with that one, but he'll take it. Sassy, drop down and out of the fight now. Will be the plant.
30 seconds left.
Safe position, forwards. Second, actually giving up the ground when he hears the flash and the footsteps once more, following up behind this one, but is it a refight called? He's still holding this one, hoping for the right clicks. Tex finding it. A stun, now applied. Really finding this one difficult. Risks have to be taken for Sentinels because it's all Lev right now, picking them to pieces. Round into the corner, and how have they managed to find this? All the kills, John QT! It's 4 so far. Ace, available, ready, and waiting. The crowd is chanting. They want it, they can feel it. Tex shuts it down, but the damage, 18 health, sticking half on the defuse. It's all 10s.
How have Sentinels pulled that pistol round away? They were in a 2v4, I think, at some point during that.
Should not have been possible.
Just doubled up from Tens and John Cutie, finding that value in terms of the way that they were playing off each other, using one of the jump peaks in order to set up the other to swing. Crazy good pistol round, and Lever forced to force here. There's no other option. You're down 10-3. You just got to send it.
Complete investment. Listening to one too many Sigma male financial shorts, I think, but all in.
This was without the plant money. Lev on defense side.
Revealing their hands with the early bullets coming through straight through mid. But Sentinel's not eager to fight there. Just that pressure applied.
Concealment.
Set the sights onto B main. Jiggle. Not punished by Mazzino. He grabs that info.
Poison orb emitting.
Look at how annoying this Viper Orb is. Gives them ground into B main, and a call is being made here right at the minute mark. Well, slightly util with the satchel forward, still using the orb to cross into the site, and they're trying to flood attempt to defend this one left. Will it be enough? Second! Just run straight wide there. Into hell, into the smoke. Playing off of instinct. Plant. I'll push back. Exactly 4 players up now. Ult online with a neural theft. That's going to be spotting out where any of these potential players are. And second, of course, he jumps on the chat. Bomb removed. 2 players left for Lev, and it's everything that has to be invested. It's a miracle if they win this one. They're going to go for it. You have to at this point. But the crossfire set up his Jiggle peaks, watching for the high ground angle. They know where the last player is. An impossibility for King. Truly an impossibility. He'll do some damage, but that's about it. Up to 11%. They are running away with this map.
And that round might be the first nail in the coffin for Leviatán's chances on split here. They're down 3-11 with a buy that's just going to be broken from here on out. Whatever they can possibly afford has just got to be invested every time. And this version of Sentinels looks like they've learned from the game against Loud and come out with something even better. Even better.
Even better and quite bitter for Lev, honestly. Hard to swallow in this instance. You're right, Josh, you know, have to invest it all every single round just to stand a chance. Cautious at the beginning. Seeing that jump spot now.
There.
No King's playing into this tucked angle. As soon as the orb goes down, that'll be the timing for them. They've been waiting for it to go down. That is so damn fast! The Orb doing the damage, getting the kill! Team kill into the feed. Tex with that one. Aspas round to the side, but instantly traded off, and this is Sentinels storming and taking the lead with mid-control, but they back away. Call in for the pause in the round.
This is so difficult for Leviatán. With only 2 players left alive, Mazzino's forced to be aggressive in order to try and find some information. But both of the players clearing different routes on the way from B to A have completely missed the pathing of Sen.
Be an incorrect gamble.
And this makes the round almost impossible. They'll be in a disadvantaged situation with no idea where the Sentinels players are positioned, trying to pull off the retake. And they've got to go for it. You can't save 2 stingers into the next and play for overtime, 12-3 down. You got to go for it.
Few advantages here for Lev in this situation. They've got 2 flashes on com. It's planted in a safe tuck position, so the post plan might be able to deal with. But do you really expect Zekken here onto the high ground? Drops down. Hearing that one, Mazzino should be comming that one to his team. Information formidable with the cage as well, splitting this one up. Now Com doesn't want to use Util, doesn't want to reveal his hand. He's contacting up into it, spraying through, but leaves it just down to Mazzino. Early peek here. Smoke propped up, didn't even tap this one, didn't even force the swing and face out Sen. The 12th round is theirs. One more step, that's all they have to take.
This is an absolute outclassing from Sen on this map. And yeah, these last few rounds, Leviatán's economy has been put in a bad position, and they're having to send whatever they can. I mean, the way that Sen are bursting through what Lev are doing on the defense side, it's so nice. Every idea is there and tight for Sentinels on split.
Kill them.
And Zekken continues to dominate on the entries, 17-7.
He's the spearhead for the team. Being set up for all of this, and he's delivering. Tap, tap goes King, but the bullets don't land. I threaten. Orbs over the top, heaven controls already. There's Paranoia, bit of a whiffage there. That was Tensys, I believe, connecting onto him, but Zelts is also being brought down. King into the elbow angle here. No one else to help him. Good movement in the end, but it's traded instantaneously.
I have the spike. Spike planted.
All of these players from Sentinels very grouped up. A little more awkward for them.
Positioning is it's a nasty one. You have to try and take the fight to them. That's the cause of that flash out wide. Stun still up. It's being covered. Showstopper. It's well earned now. And out wide, playing for the fuse timer, really biding his time. Zekken, he's boasting. He's beckoning them. Come towards me if you dare. But has he bought enough time for the slam dunk finish? Aspas ripping the head off Tens. In through the back now. Zekken, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Double dunk. Dodging and juking. Sassy. Time is not on their side. Sentinels winning map number 1.
And what a way to finish with Sassy putting down Aspas. The superstar player from Leviatán just never got an opportunity into this game. Complete team outplay from Sentinels, looking immaculate there on split. This was the map where we expected Sentinels to have the best chance against Leviatán. But I don't think we were expecting it to be this one-sided. 13-3 indicates that Sen should have great chances even when the map pool gets more difficult later on. This was an outclassing.
Pure domination. I mean, how many situations does Sen find themselves in, either with a man disadvantage or what, but even a positioning disadvantage, and they would just barrel their way through.
Zekken had an unreal individual performance.
Insane stuff. While we're stepping away, up next, GB in the analyst desk will be breaking it all down. So don't go anywhere, you don't want to miss it.
Red Bull gives you wings.